Hey guys, Dan here from the Major Squad podcast, and I am covering the Blu-ray release of Gorgo by VCI Entertainment. Now, VCI Entertainment isn't a brand that I have really heard of before, but I have checked out their website, and they do have some pretty cool releases, but this is the only kaiju-related one that they have. It is a wonderful presentation. There's a great documentary on here called The Ninth Wonder of the World. It was directed by Daniel Griffin, and it really goes through the whole story of how this movie was made, all the way back from the director's perspective. So Eugene Leray was the director of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, The Great Behemoth, and Gorgo. He did direct other films, but he was mainly known as a set designer. But those are the three films, which also happen to just be coinciding with what we cover here on the channel. We'll cover those other two films at one point. The story that was just in this documentary about Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was very interesting, not knowing that it was meant to be like a low-budget B-grade movie. And then when he was done directing it and the producers got to see it, they were like, this movie's too good for what we had intended it for, so we're going to sell it to Warner Brothers and make a lot of money off of it, which was great. And he kind of spun that into a career of doing a bunch of set designs for a bunch of different movies, eventually meeting up with the King's brothers, who commissioned him to make this monster movie. Some of the other features on this release are all visual, so they also have some of the comic books. It's almost like a slideshow, but you see the pages running through. They have comic books. They have set notes, production notes for this. And then they also have a poster gallery. There's also a few other things like press gallery. Just a lot of visual stuff on here. So it's not quite all stuff that you can hear or listen to, but it's all just, like slideshows just slowly going through. So if you want to look at all these old posters or set cards or notes, that's all there, but there's no narration. It's just all like you're gonna have to pause and read the pages and stuff like that. But it's all just added value to this. I thought that just the addition of that documentary was great. So them adding all these other notes and stuff was also really cool. So that's another thing to think about when considering this as your version of Gorgo. Now, the presentation itself is absolutely wonderful. They actually have a before and after film restoration view on this. It doesn't show you the whole movie, but it does show you clips to show what restoration work they've done to it. I think that they did a good job. They fixed a lot of the colors. A lot of the stuff was really washed out with green, and they made the colors look a lot more vibrant. But in other scenes, I almost liked the before, where I was like, oh, I think it kind of looked good, but I don't think it needed to get touched. I'm not sure what type of source material VCI had for this transfer, or if they were just given a transfer and said, hey, use this is what you're going to use for your release. They didn't really have any of that information on there, and I really couldn't find anything about that. But it's a decent transfer. It's not perfect. I would like to see an updated one in the future, but for now, it's a pretty good transfer. It comes with an English subtitle track, and it also has the English version and the French dub. And then there's also a third audio track on here, which is weird. I don't know if it's accessible from the DVD menu, but I was playing around with it on my Plex, and there's an audio track on there that's just the sounds from the movie, the soundtrack, and everything else, like knocking on doors and any sound effect, but there's no dialogue. All the dialogue's missing. You just see them talking with no lip flaps. I don't know if that's just a track that they have so they could have people dub the movie. Obviously, I don't think they want fans dubbing the movie, but maybe that's what they'd send over to a French region or another region that they wanted to make a dub for. They'd be like, hey, here's the track, dub over it with the voice. It was pretty interesting that was on there. Again, I'm not sure if that was something that's accessible from here or just on my Plex server. I didn't check, honestly, and I forgot to look before starting to film this. There is no commentary of any sorts, but this Ninth Wonder of the World documentary is a 31-minute documentary about the production of this movie, and it is fantastic. The visuals are great. It was edited very well. They kind of build on this story of how this movie came about, and they have a lot of talking heads in it, and it's just very, very well put together. I thought that they did a wonderful job, and it's kind of one of the main selling features for this Blu-ray, in my opinion. Not that the movie doesn't look great. Again, I said the transfer could be a little bit better, but it's turned me on to so many other movies that I didn't know about, but the talking heads were talking about it. I'd be like, oh yeah, they, I knew about Giant Behemoth. I knew about Beast from 20,000 Leagues. But what I didn't know about was this movie called Reptilicus. Now, I actually had bought the movie since then. I found this on the web. I got the Shout Factory, Scream Factory version with tentacles. This is out of print and it's a bit expensive. You can get the Spanish versions imported for a little bit cheaper. So if you can't find Reptilicus, I would recommend going on and importing a Spanish version if it's too expensive. And for as long as Tentacles, I would honestly go get the Kino Lorber edition of that, because they just re-released it, and I'm sure it probably has all the features that Shout Factory has, plus a little bit extras. I don't own that release, but I know Kino Lorber does a fantastic job with their releases, so I would check them out. All in all, I would recommend getting this version of the Gorgo release. I think the only other thing that's available are DVDs, so, and the Laserdisc, which I actually do own. I just hasn't shown up yet. We plan on covering Gorgo on the next episode of our podcast, and we might switch over to doing a video podcast at that point. Not 100% sure yet, but I wanted to have some cool Gorgo stuff in the background, so I was like, let me get the Laserdisc. But yeah. Tell me what your opinion is of this release of Gorgo, or just Gorgo in general. Do you guys enjoy the movie? I think that the suit and the animatronics look great, and I'm looking forward to reviewing it on the podcast. So let's talk to you guys next time, and I'll see you later. Bye.